Well, the bike broke.
So in general, I'm terrified. The modifications, all of it. Say, if it all came crashing down now, it would be devastating.
It broke and it's been neglected. Been sitting out in the rain for not that long, but long enough for it to get a little rustier than it probably should have allowed. What happened is it cracked. I think the reason that this happened is this seat post is quite a bit narrower than the inside of this tube. And this tubing isn't super thick. It's like a millimeter wall, but what's happening is when you go off a drop, all this force gets pushed up through the seat stay and then is squishing like this. So you go hit drop, really exciting, but boom, it's squishing. And anyways, the repetitive squishing made a crack there. So we're gonna have to weld this back up. And I'm excited to get this thing fixed. I genuinely really like riding it, but also we have some really fun adventures planned and I need this bicycle to work. So that, we gotta weld that up and also add some structure. But there's a bit of an issue. We've moved to a new place. That means that I no longer have access to the TIG welder that birthed this bicycle. And so we're gonna have to find one. So the first step in this repair journey is to do some online shopping. That's not my real address. Too expensive, too expensive, too expensive, too expensive, too expensive. See, this one actually would be really good. The only thing is, it's a little pricey. Okay, here we go. Products related to this item. Okay, here we go. $169, 15% off. It's on sale. Okay, this is promising. This is promising. Looks nice, dual voltage. Oh, there's a video. Oh my God. Yeah? Yeah? Oh! Fast welding speed? What the hell is that? It's kind of like a welder if you're really into Call of Duty and Transformers, which I am. Really like Transformers. More into Pirates of the Caribbean though. But this should do. This welder seems like it should be really good. Okay, while we're waiting for the welding stuff to arrive and be sorted, we gotta get the gas bottle and we gotta make the welder do the weird things with the new stuff. While we're waiting for that, let's just take apart the bike. Oh, that was loose. Oof. What do you got? Oh, what is that? That's some, you got some nice wood in there? Okay, done. Now let's take the rust off of it with a wire wheel. Okay, come off, no problem. All right, I think that's pretty well done. Missed the spot. Okay, the welder's arrived. Here it is. It has more buttons on it than the ad said it did, so that's great news. I don't know if they work, but there's another button. As mentioned earlier, there's a spot down here. This is for the switch to turn the arc on, but I'm not very good at TIG welding, so I'm really gonna need a foot pedal for controlling the amperage or the power that's going into the weld. And that's quite important on something like a bike frame. It's got really thin wall steel. We're gonna want a lot of control, especially when you're not very good at it, like myself. You can actually control the power with this knob here, which is fine and dandy, but I can't control it by turning it at the same time as I'm welding. So we're gonna have to retrofit a pedal to work on this machine, kind of hack it a bit, and we're gonna see if that'll work. So let's pull this thing apart and see what we're working with, I suppose. I plugged it in, it does a thing. It doesn't, I haven't tried welding with it yet, but we're gonna take it apart. Okay, so essentially the idea is that there's just a potentiometer being used to control the amperage of the welder, and potentiometer is just a variable resistor. I'm not any kind of electrical expert here. Okay. I'm gonna have to review my electrical knowledge here. Be back. Okay, after a quick YouTube review of how potentiometers work, I can actually determine if this is gonna work. Sure, I can just slide right out. Oh, where is it gone? Okay, so here it is. Okay, so this is a 1 kilo ohm resistor in here. Okay, so here we are. I've borrowed my mom's sewing machine pedal. So you can see what it's got going on in there. So that's a 1 k ohm resistor. Okay, so this is 5. Okay, so long story short, the sewing machine pedal's not gonna work. Let's get back to the drawing board. Okay, we're at the local dump/recycling center. And we're just looking for stuff with knobs. Essentially, see here, these might be linear variable resistors, which could work for a pedal. This is obviously, that feels like a potentiometer in there. So that is a big contender. Oh, this one spins infinitely though, which we don't want. But this one, that is a potentiometer. Oh, look at that, it's kind of cool. That'll do. When we get home, we can pull all these things apart. Okay, we'll report back with all the treasure once I sort of sort out what's good. Okay, so the dump electronics did not prove to be useful. They only had one potentiometer and it is not the right one. So what we're gonna have to do is just use the potentiometer from the welder and put it straight inside of a pedal for now. So let's get started on making a pedal around this. We'll make the foot pedal out of this. It'll be sitting up a little bit, resting on this hinge. This is just a door hinge. So the pedal will be sitting up like so on a base. Then obviously flat will be max power, so it'll sit up like this and then push it down. And then this will just sit on the side, so the hinge will be like that. Then the potentiometer will be kind of on the inside, in line with the hinge, obviously, because it needs to spin the same. And there'll be a little pocket opening here. So I'm gonna start chopping, not this wood. This wood's too nice. Okay, the pedal's done. The last couple of things I did was added an elastic band to act as the spring to bring it back. As you can hear, I added a limit switch back here so that when it goes up, the high frequency start will activate. And then I added a bit of double-sided tape in here, and then I tried to remove just foam tape, I guess. As you can see, it's still adjustable. You can move it around and adjust your peak amperage. I can say that if you're in a similar situation where your bicycle's broken and you need to fix it, I wouldn't recommend making the foot pedal because it did take a little while. You could probably save a bit of time by just buying the $50 more welder and then get a foot pedal for that. Okay, let's try this. I'm a bit nervous actually. Okay, so it says 6 amps, 20 to 50. So 27 to 50 about. So we're getting almost 25 amps through the pedal stroke. We'll see that's enough. I think it will be. So I think for reference, I'm gonna be welding mostly thin wall chromoly steel, so it's about 1 millimeter thick. We're looking at about 40 amps is what we're gonna be wanting to weld at, about 40 amps. So that's actually quite a bit of control for me. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna have to try it out and see how it works. I'm pleased with how it turned out. It looks fun. And I think it'll work well for a long time. There's not much to it. Alright, yeah, it's pretty good. Not bad. Okay, so next steps. Now that this has been made, the welder's essentially ready to go, but we do need gas for the back, which has been a flight mission. You need argon gas to run one of these welders, and it's very expensive. So making a foot pedal, saving $50, and then going out and buying a $550 bottle of gas felt a bit silly. So found one at a garage sale. Okay, I went to a garage sale today and picked up these along with a torch for $100. They're both need to be recertified, but it seems like a good way to get a bottle. I'm going to take this one. I think they got it at Air Liquid, and so I think they might give me an argon bottle if I take this in and exchange it, which is great. So hopefully that works out, because they wanted, I think, $550 for a bottle filled. So this is a good way to save a little bit of money. There was a couple on Facebook. This one just happened to be at a garage sale though, which is really fun. Anyway, in the meantime,
I think what a wise thing to do while we're waiting for that is to make all the added supports for the bike frame. Where it cracked, we're going to add a little bit of support there. Okay, we have some chain stays and seat stays from this build left over that didn't get used. I think we're going to use these seat stays here, and we're just going to make it so that these tubes just keep going straight up to the seat tube, and then we're going to just keep this stuff in place. It'll look kind of interesting. I do like how this looks, but whatever. Doesn't work. So yeah, I think we're just gonna have to start chopping. It's always hard at the start to know what's right, how things are gonna go. It's always fun. I mean, you could try and see if we can use these bends at all. Like, yeah, sure. Well, we'll keep this bend in here. See if it looks whatever makes it easier. Yeah, it's just gonna be a bit of a freehand operation, I suppose. Yeah, okay, let's do it. Just for fun, too. We can use hand tools for a little while. Oh my God. Holy smokes. Let's just do a rough cut thing. Oh, those are not even... Wow, that's far off, mate. Sort of the start of the fitment, fitting upness. The angles are just approximately in the right place, and gotta make little relief cuts for this piece here. And then also obviously round out this with a file to make it fit around the pipe. So I'm gonna do that and report back. Okay, so there it is, pretty decently fit up. You can see there's obviously a bit of a gap there and at that corner. But it's so perfectly lined up here. I might just call it there and practice filling a bit of holes while I weld. Especially since this is more or less just adding reinforcement. It's not the main structure. Like, there's a lot going on here. I think that should be fine. And I'm also kind of excited because I think it looks super neat. So let's make another one of those. So it's just touching on the tip. Too much. I think. Gotta take off that. Okay, now it's touching on this back bit too much. Definitely looks a little wonky. But as long as it does the thing it's supposed to do, we're good. Okay, let's get welding. Okay, everything's hooked up. This is definitely the most scared I've ever been to weld something. I just have this piece of scrap here. But yeah, I'm pretty nervous. There's a lot of weird things going on here. Questionable stuff from Amazon that's been modified. The reviews of this welder are definitely humming in the back of my mind right now. Doesn't even turn on. I thought it was on fire. I grabbed it and threw it out the snowbank. You lied. Not what you told me. I'm gonna have to return. I should have read the reviews before purchasing this. They're not super encouraging. The gas tank was kind of hissing at me a bit until I tightened it down really good, and I don't like that, and that made me nervous. I don't like having gas tanks around, to be honest. They're a bit scary. So in general, I'm terrified. The modifications, all of it. I'm not scared anything bad's gonna happen, but if it all came crashing down now, it would be devastating. Check the pedal. Okay, it looks like we're at 36 amps of max. 20 to 41, so we got 20 amps. Okay, I'm gonna turn the gas on. There's no pulse mode on this welder then. Whatever. They really advertise pulse mode a lot. It doesn't exist. I always forget the ground clamp and then I electrocute myself and it's never fun. Okay, now that it's up and running, I'm feeling better. Now that it did the thing with the... Why is this the shortest ground clamp I've ever seen? It's like 5 feet long. Useless. That's crazy. Gonna ground down a spot to clamp. I just kept it so that the finger is still the trigger. I feel like I have a little more control if something weird happens, just to let go. And whereas the foot pedal, as it being a DIY project, you never know what kind of things you're gonna encounter. So I'll probably have this for a while. Okay, well it works. It seems hot. This is definitely harder than welding with like a expensive machine. Maybe it goes without saying. And now, like, I know that I have to fill gaps on these upcoming braces, and I'm nervous. Like, I wasn't too nervous about filling those gaps before, but now it's like, yeah, they're gonna be quite hard. So all the work gone into this bike comes down to a Amazon welder. Initial impressions is I'm happy with that. I think I could turn it up a little bit. And now, you know, subtle again. Yeah, a little bit of splattering going on. I wonder what that's all about. Just tack one of these in place. Oop, there's a hole right through. Wow, crazy. Gas is off. Damn. Well, clean that up. Hope that my seat post still slides in. Oh my. Gas was off. I'm gonna fix that hole later once it's been tacked. Or actually, I'll just fix it as I'm welding the whole thing. All right, that'll go. We're in business. There it is, tacked up. You can see it did eat at the corners a little bit, which is fair enough with the gap this big, but we don't have too much more gaps. I could even hit that with a hammer. It's mostly just down here. That whole thing has a gap I'm gonna have to fill. All right, I did some of the welding last night. It looks pretty poor because I'm having a hard time. To make things a little easier, I did end up hooking up the pedal so that it is the thing that turns the high frequency on instead of that thumb thing that was on the torch. So that made a big difference. So without a pedal that has really, you know, good amperage control, it's making that bit a little bit harder. And I always have to fill some gaps and stuff. So it looks bad, but it should work. I did genuinely, for the rest of the frame, I spent a little more time with fit up and stuff. And I mean, it paid off there. So this is a little harder, but let's just finish it up. And it's kind of how it's going. It's not pretty. There's some parts of it that I actually should probably improve. Maybe I'll do a pass right there. But it's coming. It'll work. I'm sticking the things together, I think. It's not prettily. Yeah, it's done. It's not pretty, but I think it's fine. I did like the welder though. That being said, like, I think it'll be a useful tool. I'll use it for a while, but a foot pedal or pulse mode, just more control would have been really good. The foot pedal, this one, I think it could be modified pretty easily. Just get a resistor with a bigger range so that the motion of the pedal itself accounts for more than just 20 amps. You know, this is a 1K ohm resistor, so if you've got a 5K ohm resistor, instead of being 20 amps, you have 100 amps, which I think would be more usable. But we did it. Like, I'm gonna go ride the bike now, I guess. All right, with the welding done, move the camera fast so you can't really see the welds. We're gonna put some wax, protect it from rust. This is some homemade beeswax alternative, if you can call it that. It's candle wax, toilet bowl wax, some canola oil, or maybe no, it's canola oil. And it should do, so it's quite soft. I use it to waterproof fabrics and stuff. So I think I'm just gonna heat up this with a heat gun and rub it on and then wipe it off. And then if it breaks again, I don't have to grind off paint. So we are gonna, well, let's sew this bike back together and go on a bicycle ride. The waxing is done. It's actually kind of cool. It's left it with this real like gunmetal kind of color, the wax. It was sort of like, you know, a little bit more shiny before, and now it's sort of got this like gunmetal. That does a good job of it, you know. It's like sort of just really just like shows the grit, you know, like it's like, whoa. Right. So after all that, the bike is done, but it's all just been a big lie. This was just an excuse to make a fun biking edit. So we're gonna go to some really easy trails, because I think that easy trails sort of box you in and make you have to be kind of creative with how you ride. And also, I don't want to hurt myself. Never do, really. It's kind of annoying. For me, I think being creative is pretty much just where can I do a wheelie and make a bit of dirt come off the dust. So anyways, let's go ride